This is Penelope. She is one of our milking goats and she is producing a huge amount of milk, most of which we turn into cheese, some of it into butter, and a lot of it seems to go into rice puddings as well. However, back in the kitchen I'm going to show you a recipe for using goat's milk to make bread. For this recipe we are using 1.5 kilos of strong plain bread making flour. We're obviously adding our own goat's milk to it. Now you can use any milk for this, but obviously because we keep goats and we've got loads of milk from them, then we use goat's milk. You're also going to need 3 teaspoonfuls of salt. You will need yeast. I'm using dried yeast, so you'll need 3 sachets, 7-gram sachets of dried yeast. And you'll need a fat to add to it. Now, it could be butter, it could be cooking oil. We are using the cream from our goat's milk. So, all we need now is a big mixing bowl. So, into a mixing bowl, put the flour. Your cream or your fat, so 3 serving spoonfuls. And then yeast. And then the salt. And before you add in the milk, you need to mix this up. Just warm it up to around about 25 to 30 degrees centigrade, so it's tepid warm. Form a well in the centre of the flour, and then just gradually pour in and work in the milk. So this is the dough, everything mixed up. The final phase of mixing, you've got to use your hands for that. And we're going to use our hands as well for the next stage, which is the kneading. So to knead the dough, you've got to have a flat, clean surface with flour sprinkled over it to stop the dough from sticking to the surface. You'll find that you'll need to keep adding flour to it, but stretch it, pull it, fold it over, and this stimulates the yeast and helps make sure that it will rise well once we get to that part of the process. So you've got to do this for about 10 minutes. It's the world's most boring job. Sorry about that, everybody, but that's just life for you. So I think we'll cut now to the bit in 10 minutes when we finish kneading it. I'm pleased to say the 10 minutes is now up. So there is the dough. And the next job is to divide that up and to put it into baking tins. This isn't actually tin, it's a silica one, but it's one of these that can stand really high temperatures. They're actually better to use, much easier to use than the metal ones. So 3 loaves. It's a beautiful sunny day outside, so we've got a lot of light and a lot of heat streaming in from outside, so we're going to use that we're going to leave the loaves in the sun. They're going to hopefully double in size, but we'll come back in at least an hour or so, possibly a bit more, to see how they're getting on. Right, so as you can see, they've risen rather nicely. So we've preheated the oven to 220 degrees centigrade, and we're going to put them in there for about 40 minutes. So it's had 35 minutes in the oven, so just turn it over, see if it comes out. Yep, there we go. And the best way to check that it is actually ready is if it sounds a bit hollow, then it's ready, and this is. Well, it's breakfast time now, so I'm going to try out a couple of slices of our homemade goat's milk bread with bramble jelly, homemade.